All right, so we're just gonna do an updated deck profile for the Skull Servants. With the new ban list, unfortunately, it got hit with the whole Union Carrier. We were playing Doomsday Horror and the Buster Dragon, the one that's kind of like a Dweller effect. Sorry, I don't remember its name, but its only purpose was to have like a Dweller effect for monsters. Other than that, we kind of have to like change the build a little bit and then add it a little bit more. So I just want to do a whole deck profile, and I did a test hand video, so that was pretty neat. If you guys want to check that out, so I'm gonna start off with the monsters. Let's move that real quick. For the monsters, we're playing three King of the Skull Servants. Obviously, like zoom that in a little bit. Triple King of the Skull Servants. I mainly use him as an engine. I keep bringing him out using Prince, and then using his level to either make a link or level one, and then use Wear Off Thou to get some extenders. Like I said, go watch the video for the test hand so you guys can see how I utilize this. And then in the end of the combo, we bring him out with like 10k plus attack or so. So yeah, three King of the Skull Servants, triple White Baking. This is the new card. This has helped the deck by a whole lot. It's put in so much consistency to the deck. It once it's sent to the graveyard, you can add Skull Servant cards. I'm just gonna use that for the lack of term. Skull Servant cards, which is basically you want to add Prince and the White Mare, and then you discard one. So the ideal is that you have the extender, which is White Mare, and then you have the discard for the Prince, and then Prince will send Lady in White and Skull Servant. So those guys are actually up next. So you'll dump the Prince, and once the Prince is sent to the graveyard, you'll send Lady in White and Skull Servant himself. So that gives you the fuel in the graveyard. That's already four cards or four Skull Servant cards in there, so that your king is basically 4k. But like I said, you banish Prince and then two other Skull Servant cards to summon the king, and then you just kind of like cycle them out from banish, graveyard, and such. So a lot of people are not really playing the princess. I still like playing the princess because it's a light. That's the only Skull Servant card that is a light, so it helps. Also, the fact that it's a level 3, that helps out as well to make Livier. And then my favorite is White Mare. White Mare is the one that you discard. You can either put it back to the graveyard like a burial from different dimension, or you can summon like a kind of like a DDR. So preferably you do the summoning, so you can keep extending, keep linking, exceeding, or doing different kinds of plays. And then so those are the Skull Servant guys. For the non Skull Servant but still a zombie, the Uni Zombie, it helps you. Well, the level part actually matters a lot because you can make the Synchro, which is Chaos Ruler. You can make it level 5, and then the Lady in White is level 3, so that's an 8. Or you can just make it level 4, and then you have like other level 4s that you can revive or summon as an extender. So since Unizombie is super important, it's kind of like a staple in a zombie deck. Solitaire, mainly to bring Unizombie out. We're not playing Glow Up Bloom or so. Other level 4s would be Gozuki. We're playing triple Gozuki just because the main purpose of the deck is to send White Baking to the graveyard. Once White Baking goes to the graveyard, it just triggers getting the Prince. It just starts up your entire combo. Triple Mizuki, because Mizuki is amazing. You can send this to the graveyard so many different ways, and then you can keep recycling it. Once we go to the spell cards, you guys will see that you can use Mizuki like 6-7 times, or possibly even more in one turn. So those guys, and then the last zombie monsters would be one Doom King and one Banshee. This is just once it goes to the graveyard, you can get the zombie world, and then Doom King is just like an extra push because once you have the zombie world on the field, you can just bring it out in the standby phase. So And then for the non-zombies, we just use these guys as an extender because they're really great. It works with the deck as well. And then Chaos Space is a really good card. So now for the spells, we're playing double zombie world because it's easier. I mean, all of them are zombie, but the extra deck is there's times where you have a couple of things that are non-zombie. But zombie world kind of makes it easier. It's also kind of like a pseudo floodgate for a lot of your opponents' decks. So we're using those. We're playing 1/1, Foolish Burial, and Monster Reborn for our one-ups. Those guys are really great. This generic like good cards, and then 1/1 since it's a lot of like these cards are level 1. Triple Allure, I have a love-hate relationship with this card because there's times where I don't even want to banish the dark, and there's times where I get a little bit greedy. But Allure, regardless, is still a really great card, so I'm still playing it. This card is amazing. The Pot of Acquisitiveness. This brings back the three, which is usually the Prince, the Lady in White, and the Skull Servant. You put it back into the deck, so you can kind of keep the cycle going, and then you draw one card. So I like the fact that it says draw one card, but also the fact that you can put 3 cards back from the banish to the deck helps out a whole lot. And then this is kind of like the same, but instead of putting it back to the graveyard, you put it to the deck. This one puts it to the graveyard, so you can return back your Mizukis and then keep using it. And then with that being said, we also play triple DDR because DDR is amazing. I've always liked this card. Discarding a card sometimes doesn't even matter because sometimes you'll discard a Prince and then it triggers. So there's a lot of interaction with this. Chaos Space is also good because you have a bunch of darks, so you can discard your white baking. That's gonna trigger, and then you add the light, so you have a lot of extenders. And then this is just like my personal favorite as well. War of Tao. It works really great with the deck because pretty much everything is level 1. And then you can add the White Mare. White Mare is not a once per turn, so you can keep adding White Mare in there, and then just keep extending. All right, so for the extra deck, we have 1 Link Karibo for the Link 1. Link 2, we have IP Masquerina or Vampire Sucker and IP Masquerina, which is really great. So zoom out there for a little bit. We have the Underclock Taker and Barricade Board Blocker. This is just a generic Link 2. I guess you can replace it with something else, but I'm a big fan of Underclock Taker. It's underestimated card. Nightmare Phoenix is just a generic Link 2 that's also good. Barricade Board Blocker is actually pretty good. The Underclock used to be the Union Carrier. So the end board before was a 4 negate Appaloosa, Barricade Board Blocker, and Union Carrier. Union Carrier have the Dweller Buster card, and then Barricade Board Blocker will protect your zombie world and your spell and traps, or your spells on the field. So those are really good. That's a Link 1 and Link 2. For the Link 3, we only play 1, which is the Unicorn. Still a really good card because you can use it with the Masquerina. Link 4 is where we actually we utilize this the most. So we have 2 Saryuja and 1 Appaloosa. Believe it or not, we can actually go into 2 Saryuja and still go into an Appaloosa with 4 materials. So that's it. This deck has a bunch of summons once you get the right like combo pieces. And then in the end, you can still make like an Appaloosa with IP Masquerina and Barricade Board Blocker. And then from there, you can summon the Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. So it's really good combo. These guys are really good as well. The rank 1, this one, there's a bunch of level 1, so you can hit a spell and trap and just add it to your hand. And if not, if you hit a monster, so most of the monster that you hit are really good to be in the grave anyway, so it helps out regardless. Livier, self-explanatory. It's you banish a bunch, you make 2 level 3, bring back your Mizuki, keep extending from there. And then the last Exceed would be Dweller, because it's just a really good card, and it's the last card I put in there just because I can extend and put the Mizuki into back to the graveyard and bring out 2 level 4s and make a Dweller. And then last card is going to be Chaos Ruler. This guy helps out a lot. It dumps 5 cards, or excavate 5 cards, and you can add 1 light or dark. which most of the time it's good as a discard fodder, or sometimes you can add the card and you can just use it for next turn. But mainly it feels out your graveyard. So yeah, that is the deck. Let me know if you guys have any suggestions or comments. But so far, like I said, you can watch the test hand video and see how you guys like that combo. All right, peace out.